And welcome to the Town of Douglas Conservation Commission meeting for Monday, October 3rd, 2022. Time is 7:04. First item on the agenda, the meeting minutes. Do we have those reviewed?
Yes.
Okay. Mike?
I looked
July
over it,
18th?
They look fine to me.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion
There was one typo here, but on number 7.
for July 18th.
Yes.
Typo at,
It says Miss Sharkey asked, the word asked is spelled wrong.
okay.
That's a big,
I like that. Which page is that?
Page 2. Number 7.
What's wrong with number 7?
There's a small typo.
Oh,
Asked, yep. D is missing. Okay. Entertain a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes as amended.
Second.
Motion made by-
For July 18th, 2022.
Motion made by Mike, seconded by Joe. All those in favor?
Eric Harris, aye.
Joe Fitzpatrick, aye.
Mike Greco, aye.
Tracy Sharkey, aye. Actually, for the record, we'll just take a roll call also.
Eric Harris here.
Joe Fitzpatrick here.
Mike Greco here.
Tracy Sharkey here. Okay, thank you. All right, and Attorney Winter is on the line. And
I am here, Madam Chair.
okay, thank you. Good evening. Thank you so much for being with us. And I am going to move up the old business 7 PM public hearing, continued amended notice of intent, 115 Shore Road, Robert and Diane Miller. Do you want to give us an update?
Sure, if I could just sort of tell you where we're at. So you'll recall the last time we met on this, I had promised to work with the attorney representing the Millers with respect to putting together some sort of agreement or memorandum that would memorialize what the expectations were with respect to replacement of the pipe. He took the first stab at that and provided me with a document. I've made some changes to it, I've been tinkering with it, but you know, we're almost there, but we need a little feedback, I think, from the commission tonight, because there's a couple of takeaways from it that I don't think the commission has kind of seen committed in writing yet. So we have a little bit more certainty on these things. So the obvious ones is they're willing to replace the pipe, the 12-inch pipe. They're going to do it as soon as the parts can come in, the piece can be ordered and delivered, and they will then install it. That part they had already agreed to. They would like to do that pursuant to an emergency certificate and not a separate notice of intent. They're then going to show the details and location of the new pipe on their as-built plan with respect to their outstanding filing on 115 Shore. So I think so far we're more or less on the same page there. Here's the, well, maybe not new information, but confirmed information. They're going to withdraw their application to amend their outstanding order of conditions. And so they've built this wall, some form or fashion, on their property. And they had sought an amended OOC for that. They're going to withdraw that amendment. But we haven't dealt with, you know, what's going to happen with that. It's not on the approved plan, and the amendment was supposed to deal with that. So rather than sort of hold up the pipe issue by hashing that one out, I thought it probably made sense to just separate that out completely and just have this memorandum of agreement deal only with the pipe and nothing else. So that issue is going to be, or at least for the time being, outstanding. So those are essentially the mechanics. Obviously, we're not going to, waive any of our authority or obligations under the bylaws, Wetlands Protection Act regulations, any of those things. But with respect to the pipe, that's going to be the contemplated process right now. So we've exchanged drafts of this agreement, and what remains to be done is the removal of the wall from that agreement, which I've done on my end, and some feedback from the commission tonight that I'm either heading in the right direction or not heading in the right direction, or you like what you hear and you want me to wrap this up. So those are the basics. Happy to answer any questions. And again, if you think I'm moving in the right direction and this is what you expected, then I will wrap it up and we'll have it in front of you for your next meeting.
Thank you. Board?
Only thing, I've read this letter that Marlene Myers sent in, and replacing the pipe is fine, but it doesn't really, a little concern here where there's a lot more digging going on, and the stone being brought in, what impact it's going to have, because the last line here says, once they replace the pipe, that's it, it's over with. So you have no, what's going to happen if this is continue to be a problem here? Because I don't think that's been addressed as far as, is that impacting the situation or not?
No.
I'm
Attorney
sorry,
Myers?
May I just ask a quick question? Were you reading from Howard's proposed agreement?
Yeah, I was reading for the one here, the stipulation agreement of the party.
Yes.
And then I was
Right.
looking at the letter from Mrs. Myers. And she has concerns on that pipe there with the crushed stone and the water and so forth. I'm just wondering what impact that's going to have after you change it. Is that going to relieve the problem that she has? Or is her problem going to continue? And at that point, we've agreed to wash your hands to it. You've changed the pipe and that's it, we're done with it.
So just so you know, that was his initial proposal. I've proposed a modification to that because, even though we're sort of going back to where things were at the beginning of this, that doesn't necessarily mean that that work or any of the other work isn't going to have some kind of impacts that you have jurisdiction over. So we've agreed that with respect to replacement of or we could agree that with respect to replacement of the pipe, we'll consider that sort of construction level issue to be resolved because they'll put it back the way it was with the right size pipe. But with respect to any other matters that are in the commission's jurisdiction, we're not going to waive the statute. We're not going to waive the law.
So I think a peer review would ensure the board that the pipe would resolve the issues.
Right, but they're saying they're not going to do a peer review.
Correct. So I think that would be one of the resolutions on this. So we have a surety that this pipe is going to resolve the issues that have been ongoing for over a year. Anyone else on the board? Questions, comments? So Attorney Winter, can the pipe be replaced under the old original emergency order?
No, that's expired. It's only good for 30 days.
But the work that was done under that order was not proper.
That's right.
So do we really need to issue an additional emergency order?
I think we want something on record so that any terms, conditions, or requirements we have are reflected in that, and also to give Mr. Zisk the right to go out there, supervise, inspect, do whatever he needs to do so that the installation meets your requirements and any other standard practices. So we need some sort of document to facilitate it.
Okay. And then as far as the current request for an amended notice of intent, if they withdraw that, I would assume that the board would not be able to issue a certificate of compliance for the work unless they file an additional request for the work outside of the scope.
I tend to agree with that assessment, but this is a point of contention. And so I don't think we're going to reach an agreement on that. I believe what you're going to hear from the Millers is that they feel it's so de minimis that could be allowed essentially as a field change on the as-built. My impression, based on what I've heard from the commission, is that the commission's not going to agree. And so it would require filing. So we have a difference of opinion on that. And so this memorandum that we're working on here is not going to resolve that one way or another.
Yeah, especially because they've already filed for amended notice of intent for those specific items. Why would we not think that those items are outside the scope of the originally issued order?
I would agree with that as well. But again, my suggestion for now is let's deal with the pipe and let's just pull that piece out of it because we're not going to reach an agreement on that component.
Okay, I think we're moving in the right direction. I think we can consensus that the board would issue an emergency order to replace the pipe. But this agreement should only be addressing that pipe replacement and no other items.
Comment, Tracy?
Yes,
Can recommend that town council drafts up the emergency order to make sure that it's airtight on what needs to be done, so there's no ambiguity on
the
what
scope,
the scope and responsibility should be.
yeah, I think Attorney Winter is on his way on that.
Yep, that's fine.
So you would prepare the revised agreement as well as the emergency order that's issued by the board.
Yes, and I've already shared my proposed revisions with council just today, though, so he hasn't had a chance to look it
Okay.
over. Just to make, you mentioned peer review earlier, and just to be clear, they have not proposed to fund peer review. That will be an impasse, I'm sure. They're not going to agree to spend more money on this. So they're willing to do the construction, but I don't know if we're going to reach an agreement as to the meaning and significance of that, installation of the pipe. Does it fix things? Does it not fix things? What impact does it have? So just giving you fair warning, I think we're going to reach a sticking point on that.
So Steve, do you have the estimate addressing just the pipe in hand?
I believe I got the file right here. I think the commission pulled that out, and I believe the two peer reviews was for the amended order. Mm-hmm. And then for the property, the notice of intent for across the street that Douglas Property owns.
So,
Let's see, conductors.
what my suggestion would be is to get an estimate for just the pipe concern.
That's what the commission wants.
Board, do you think that we could just request that estimate for maybe the board paying for that peer review to ensure that that pipe is suitable?
You saying that the board's gonna pay it?
Yes. We're issuing the emergency order, so I would say that's just an option, and then we can see what we can do with passing it off to the applicants. There's a couple parties involved. So that we don't do the mistake twice. Steve?
Yeah,
I mean, there's no harm at requesting
My question
the
is,
estimate.
the 12-inch pipe, if that's going to handle the problem down there, then we're fine.
Right. But having a piece of paper saying that it does, because nobody's actually calculated it.
Right.
And we're not sure, it was a variety of different pipes and sizes previously that was disturbed, so I think if we do the exercise on requesting the estimate, then we can make a determination. If it's short money, then
How long does it take to get that done?
probably, Steve, very quickly, right, to request that estimate and the
Well,
result.
But you gotta be specific, so you're gonna be wanting a peer review on the drainage calculations of the culvert pipe that's associated with the shore road
Yes.
and the entire drainage pattern?
And the emergency order that we would be issuing. So I don't want to get caught up with saying that this board is requiring the 12-inch in that emergency order. Why are we designing something? It's typically the applicant requesting the emergency order.
So that, whatever the commission would like, that's fine. It's just, so the peer review grades, I know the last time, it's probably gonna be, hopefully you can turn around quickly with the estimate, so.
Attorney Winter, do you see where this is going as far as us requesting or picking out of the air a 12-inch pipe with no engineering calculations, and then we sign off on this emergency order, and for some reason it's not suitable? Where does the town stand on that?
No, I understand that concern completely, and I think the only reason we're even talking about the 12 inches, if I recall correctly, is because that's what we think was there before, but that doesn't mean it's, we have any opinion on its suitability. So I understand your point, because I think this whole exercise is to get to a baseline where we can say, okay, now we know what we've got out there and what it's doing, and now we can start to look at whatever the future holds. So having that information would be pretty useful, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So I think it's going to be short money to ensure that the town's protected on whatever activity that we're requesting, because we seem to be driving the bus on the sizing and the suitability, as you would say. I think it's been long enough. Why don't we just finish it correctly?
So the peer review language, well, I'm gonna be asking Graves for a peer review on what.
To ensure that the flow through the proposed pipe is suitable to mitigate any damage, runoff, that the watershed is taken care of through that pipe.
Under existing conditions, correct?
Correct.
All right.
Yeah, they project anyway with that watershed calculation, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, and once we see what that is, then we can have a conversation around it.
Yeah, it's been so long, I don't know why we would just say, this is what it is. It's been long, many months. What, Steve?
Nothing, that's fine.
Okay.
I got the tape, I'll be watching tape.
Do you want a formal motion for that request?
Oh, yes.
I'll entertain a motion to request the estimate from Graves Engineering for the analysis of the culvert pipe and its suitability for existing conditions.
I'll second.
So moved by Joe,
Second.
second by Eric. All those in favor?
Eric Harris, aye.
Joe Fitzpatrick, aye.
Mike Greco, aye.
Tracy Sharkey, aye. Good? Okay. So this is a public hearing. Anyone in the audience have any questions or concerns regarding this hearing? This is 115 Shore Road. Please raise your hand. Yep. Name and address,
Hello.
please.
Yes, hello, my name is Evangeline Sutter. I'm at 117 Shore Road with my mother, Madeline Myers.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, hi. Thank you. I just wanted to say, thank you for doing that. We've been concerned about the water flow for a long time, and I just appreciate your attention to this. It affects my mother's yard and my yard very much, and I just appreciate your attention to it, so thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Mrs.
Can I
Lawrence?
make a-
Yeah.
Dean Lawrence, 119 Shore Road. I just wanted to ask, will that peer review include, like when you talk about the culvert drainage, that requires both the pipe that goes under the road and the pipe that goes through the property. And so the whole 12-inch is to be intact. And I know that it's the RCT 12 inches, I think, intact at the end of it where it meets the lake, and I think at the beginning, but I was told that in the middle it's not 12 inch anymore. So could they just, but it might be, I don't know for sure, so could they put a camera down and inspect that it's 12 inches all the way? Because if you make it 12 inches, but it's constricted further down, then it won't actually be functional 12-inch drainage.
This peer review request, which was voted on by the board seconds ago, is specifically for the culvert in the roadway, not for any other culvert. So I believe that you have, the building official may require that. So you need to request that from him, because that was part of the special permit from ZBA.
Okay, but would this peer review be able to measure whether it functions as a 12-inch?
No.
Okay.
It's going to say the receiving water into the pipe is adequate. That pipe size is adequate to handle that. So anything beyond the outlet would need to be addressed with a different document, I would say.
Okay. Well, thank you.
You're welcome. I think the scope really should stay, if the board is going to be paying for that, the scope should stay within the roadway and not associated with any filing.
Okay.
There is a filing, which is what you're speaking on, is the 115 Shore Road. So that would be the pipe that is existing on that property. So the board's hearing that the pipe may need to be cambered. So whether or not the applicant withdraws that is a different story. So the board may require that as part of the certificate of compliance.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, anyone else in the audience have any questions or concerns regarding 115 Shore Road hearing? Please raise your hand if you're online. Not seeing anything. Board? We pretty clear on this. I will entertain a motion to continue the public hearing until October 17th, 2022.
So moved.
Motion made by Mike,
Second.
second by Eric. All those in favor?
Eric Harris, aye.
Joe Fitzpatrick, aye.
Mike Greco, aye.
Tracy Sharkey, aye. Okay, thank you very much.
All right, good night, everybody.
Good night.
Thanks, Mike.
I will do 7 PM, public hearing, continued notice of intent, Shore Road Lot 299, parcel 7.16, Cliff Van Reed. Anyone here presenting on behalf of that item? Steve, did you hear from a request almost for?
I didn't know, I'm surprised Margaret's not here. We did get we did get a letter though from Henry Lenny. I think it should be in everyone's package, but it's just regarding it's about the discussion you just had.
Okay, board, do you want to continue this to the 17th or the 7th?
I would continue it to the same date.
Okay. I entertain a motion to continue to October 17th, 2022.
So move.
Motion made by Joe,
Second.
second by Eric. All those in favor?
Eric Harris, aye.
Joe Fitzpatrick, aye.
Mike Greco, aye.
Tracy Sharkey, aye. Okay,
What's the new date on that?
October 17th. Okay, request for certificate of compliance, 32 Cottage Colony, Dave Brown. Steve, do you have any comments on this one?
Without, the as-built was done, there should be a copy in everyone's package of the as-built for the property. I do have a video of it. Everything looks established according to the plan. I know, he was ready probably about a month ago. He had a minor thing that he just wanted to button up, which he did, so. I mean, if it's not there, I think there should be a folder where Mark sits with the as-built plan in it. And let me see if I can bring the video up of the property. This is still, hopefully this still comes in choppy. Is it still coming in choppy? Can you see the video of 32?
Yeah, it is a little choppy still. It's okay.
Okay. So this is the addition. Pretty much in the same, I think it was pretty much in the same footprint. There used to be a deck there at one time. I think the owner is at the meeting. He might be in front of you now. And kind of explain what he did. Is Mr. Brown here?
He is. He's letting you take control.
The shed stayed the same. I think they might just redone the siding. So really, it's just the front here, which used to be a deck. I think he added some stairs to it according to the order. I mean, the grass wasn't really touched. He had good erosion controls, which he removed. And I think everything matched up on the as-built plan, pretty much where the proposed approval was.
Okay, board.
If Steve thinks everything's good, then I'm fine with it.
Okay, good. Can I entertain a motion to issue the certificate of compliance?
So move.
Motion made by Joe,
Second.
second by Eric. All those in favor?
Eric Harris, aye.
Joe Fitzpatrick, aye.
Mike Greco, aye.
Tracy Sharkey, aye. All set.
Do I need to file that with anyone, Madam Chairwoman?
The registry of deeds. So it'll discharge the order of conditions that's on the property.
Steve will probably update me.
Yep, so you'll get our original signature, and then you can just mail it into the registry with a payment, and they'll record it. Record it, yeah.
Naturally.
Yeah, 75, I think.
Okay, all set?
Yep, you can call Steve tomorrow, leave a message, he'll get He'll get you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, 7 PM RDA request for determination 30 Perry has withdrawn. A 7 PM public hearing, notice of intent, 159 Wallen Lake Road, lot number 1, Stephen Packard. Pursuant to Mass General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act, the Down Douglas Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on October 3rd, 2022 at 7 PM for a notice of intent filed by Stephen Packard located at 159 Wallen Lake Road for work to be done pursuant to the Town of Douglas Wetland Bylaw and the Wetland Protection Act, Mass General Law 131, Section 40. The proposed work involves construction of a new single-family home and associated site features well, septic, driveway. Public participation will be available by attending the meeting at the Town of Douglas Municipal Center located at 29 Depot Street, Douglas, Mass. Pursuant to Governor Baker's June 16, 2021 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law. General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 18, the public may participate in this meeting via remote participation. A website for the meeting will be provided on the conservation agenda, posted on the town's website at least 48 hours prior to the meeting. Copies of the notice of intent may be examined electronically by contacting the Conservation Commission, 508-476-4000, extension 205. 9/26. 9/26.
5 days.
Steve, 9/26, not including the, you either need,
It was last Monday, so 5 days, count today.
okay, so we don't count one day, right? Either the day that it was put in or the day of the meeting. So it's still,
Let's see, the 26th, I was counting 5 days, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then today, yeah, so it would be one way or another. If you count the 26th.
6 days.
It's 5 days. If you don't and count today, it's 5 days.
Okay. Okay, who is presenting this project? 159 Wallen Lake
Good
Road.
evening. Peter Engel with McClure Engineering.
Hello. Do you have a plan to show us for share screen?
You can bring it up. I got the one I just sent today. You see this plan? And there's a colored plan, I think, in everyone's package with my checklist comment. You should see it. I colored that one up. So if you look at the plan, there's some, as you go down Wallen Lake Road, there's wetland, a ditch wetland, so there's some buffer zone in the entrance to the driveway off of Wallen Lake. And then after you get into the site 100 feet, there's no wetlands along the rest of the driveway, the house, the well, it's all outside the buffer zone. And
Okay.
pretty much the septic in the backyard is within it. And then so my checklist is appended to the second page. DEP number came in today.
What's the number?
It was 143-1062.
Okay.
Yeah, let me see if they have comments. I don't see any comments.
There one comment that we didn't have the latitude and longitude for.
Oh, Peter. Sheesh.
Yeah, they still ask for that. I don't know why, but.
Okay.
Well, so this is.
So what is our closest point? It's just the septic and grading? The house is outside the 100? Peter?
Yeah, so the house is just outside the 100, the septic meets the 50-foot setback. The actual septic is probably like 60 feet away. But grading and the clearing limits, we get to about 35 feet on one side and 40 feet on the other.
Have you proposed any anti-creep methods for that 35-foot at the bottom of the slope for the septic?
Anti-creep, what do you mean?
Boulders, split rail fence, signage, plantings?
We don't, other than, the erosion control barrier obstruction, but something more permanent we don't have currently on the plan.
Can you propose something?
Yes, I think the applicant, actually on the line too, Stephen Packard, I don't know if he would have any particular thing we could do, but we could do, it is a rocky area, I think, some boulders along that limit of disturbance would be easy to do.
You're talking just to identify the wetlands?
Yeah, that 35-foot is pretty close, so we don't want them mowing any more than they have to.
Because what I've seen before is they put a post with a little sign on that says wetlands area. You don't have to do the fence, it's pretty inexpensive.
Yeah, I would suggest that the applicant comes up with something now to,
So this is Steve Packard. There's an existing rock wall
okay,
we can relocate to separate the zone.
yeah, because we're gonna have to have something that prevents even a future owner from encroaching even further than that 35, because it's so close. And then you're at the bottom of the slope, how are you gonna actually construct that?
Yeah, I think a line of boulders around that, or, larger stones that, when we did the perk test, there's quite a bit of rock there, and like Steve said, there is the old stone wall that goes through that area, and they'll probably hit some more rock excavating the septic in the house, so I think there's gonna be plenty of rock to kind of line around that limit of disturbance. And then I've seen ones where you get a little sign, you can glue it onto the bigger rocks that can't be moved, rather than, putting up metal signs in that area. That would be easy enough to do. to be more-
Yeah. It's really close. Okay, so a line of boulders at the limit of disturbance would be an agreement at that 35. The issue is just that 35 point, and then as you're curling around to say the 50,
Yeah,
what I would suggest is to the left, at where it meets the 50, at the closest point. So
Yep.
on the far left, southeast, and then around that septic to the edge of that 50 on the right, on the northeast.
yeah, I think that's doable, as long as Steve's fine with that.
Just
Yeah, I'm fine with
a
that.
physical deterrent from, and letting the future owners know that you really can't mow and encroach any further.
I'll be living there for the rest of my life.
Okay, all right, so so you'll remember, hopefully.
They could put some kind of a,
Hopefully I remember.
they would know what that is, somebody comes along and doesn't know what the rocks are.
Like three signs?
Yeah, something, just basically just. something
Three posts
to
with
identify it. Doesn't
that.
have to be a great big sign, just something to identify it.
Okay. So like, say 3 posts with signage.
Now, are we doing that the whole around the whole septic, even where at the 40-foot there as well?
Yeah, I was thinking something like this spot right here,
Yeah,
and then wrapping the deterrent to here.
okay. That works, yeah.
Just because the grading and stuff, you're kind of looking, no one else is, you're not going to do anything else back there. Besides this could be possible erosion, but
Okay.
that's at the 20, this is the 25. Or this is the 50, I'm sorry.
Mhm.
Would the applicant be opposed to doing a post with some signage? So like 3 posts,
A single post?
3 posts,
Yeah, single post with,
or a single, oh, you don't, you
no,
want,
a single post with a sign on it, but 3 of them spread out.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to that.
And it doesn't have to be a huge sign, just to identify what's there, so that they know there's a reason why the rocks were there, and
yeah, kind of in
Give 'em a
between
heads up,
the,
basically.
yeah,
It doesn't
like
have to be that
evenly
big.
spaced.
Yeah, I don't see an issue with that.
Okay. Board, anything else? No? Anyone else in the audience have any questions or concerns regarding this hearing for 159 Wall Lake Road? Oh, entertain.
So the order isn't ready for this, so the next meeting is in 2 weeks. Just, so they're not gonna lose any time. We'll have the order ready to go for the next meeting to sign. So I'd recommend just keep the public hearing open, continue to the 17th, and then have them just revise the plan, so you have a nice neat plan with what everybody wants. And then it's not, they're not gonna lose any time, because you have to sign it for next meeting in 2 weeks anyways. So you can open, close, and then sign the order in 2 weeks. But then you get a nice clean plan along with the order conditions.
Okay, is the applicant agreeable with that?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So board, we will, I'll entertain a motion to continue the public hearing till October 17th.
so moved.
Motion made by Joe,
Second,
second by Eric. All those in favor?
Eric Harris, aye.
Joe Fitzpatrick, aye.
Mike Greco, aye.
Tracy Sharkey, aye. Okay, so we'll have that ready to be signed on the 17th, and if you could just, you know, put on your plan the deterrent, the anti-creep measures, and we'll be good to go.
Sure, sounds good.
Yeah, Peter, if you can just get me that, at least a few days before, so I can just put the final revised date on the forward of conditions, that'd be great.
Not a problem. I can probably get that to you this week.
Okay, great.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too. Next item, North Brown LLC, owners of the project as North Village, Mass DEP 143-0782, partial release of the covenant for Phase 3 with the covenant secured by the order of conditions for the project. So we have this under discussion. Neil, did you want to come up to the table? I believe Steve's going to recuse himself from this discussion. And if you wanted to clue the board in to where we're at on this.
So we're looking for partial release of a section of the project over at North Village. Each phase, the board has a covenant over. We've already had the first 2 phases released. We're looking for the 3rd phase to be released. All the work that was in the conservation's jurisdiction has been completed and it has been signed off. It's really more just some paperwork, clerical stuff, from my understanding.
Yeah, it was a surety to the town that all the phases would be correctly accomplished, so completed.
Well, the first 2 phases are done,
Yeah.
done.
And we've already released the order of conditions on the project, so this is just a unique situation where I don't believe any work is jurisdictional in phase 3.
Correct.
There's just a covenant that is on the property that the board needs to release. So that's in your packet.
Do we have anything that says the completion of the infrastructure is done?
The completion of what?
Number 1 on... last-
Infrastructure?
Yeah.
Oh, so the infrastructure was the,
Original crossing.
yeah. I think, yeah, Hazy's reading it.
You haven't seen this?
The as-built, you're saying?
Yeah, well, it says it's a certificate, so do you have a copy of that, or? Is it in the packet?
So the completion of the infrastructure under the covenant has been completed. Do you have an as-built plan that you submitted to ZBA for the roadway?
Not for phase 3,
Okay.
no.
Is
That doesn't get submitted until after the project's
Okay,
farther
so
along.
is the infrastructure completed
Yes,
for phase 3?
yeah.
Okay.
Who's certifying it?
They are supposed to be certifying it.
So they're going to give us something that says it's done? You're
Yeah.
asking me to sign off on something that, I don't know if it's even been checked, I don't know.
Well, it's been checked by the town. The town hires an engineer to oversee the project, so he has certified that's been installed.
Yeah, I understand that, but do we have anything, any paperwork that says he checked it or anything like that? There's nothing in the packet, that's my question.
Okay?
Okay, so the completion of the infrastructure, so it was a Graves or Stantec? That's been.
Leonard.
Oh, it was Leonard. So do you have Leonard's letter that the infrastructure has been completed?
I have Leonard's reports at the during the installation from him.
Okay,
But the infrastructure,
that's the first line.
yeah,
So if you have a report saying that it's satisfactory completed, you could just send it to Steve right now. He could print it for us. Do you think you had that?
it's somewhere.
Okay.
I don't have that ready. I don't know.
Okay. Well, we can table this to like 8:15 if you want to take a look.
Let me see what I can do.
And then we can, okay. All right, so let's table the discussion item. We don't need a vote on that. So let's see if you could just email it to Steve, he can print it for us.
Okay.
So certifying that the infrastructure is complete.
Okay.
Okay. Good catch. Okay, the other item is 19 Webster Street, Steve, do they advertise?
Yes.
Okay, I don't have the legal ad, did you?
I did.
Did you submit that to Steve? No?
I just got this email today.
Oh, okay, all right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, lucky number 926. 7 PM RDA public meeting, request for determination of applicability, 19 Webster Street driveway, Town of Douglas Conservation Commission, 29 Depot Street, Douglas, Mass. Legal notice for public meeting, request for determination of applicability. The Town of Douglas Conservation Commission will hold a public meeting for Selena Bursick.
Buskirk.
Buskirk, on October 3rd, 2022, at 7 PM in the Municipal Center, 29 Depot Street. Work to be done pursuant to the Town of Douglas Wetland Bylaw and the Wetland Protection Act, Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40. Request for determination of applicability. Work and location is 19 Webster Street, and the applicant is requesting permission to pave the driveway, the existing driveway. Public participation will be available by attending the meeting at the Town of Douglas Municipal Center, located at 29 Depot Street, Douglas, Mass, or pursuant to Governor Baker's June 16, 2021 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 18. The public may participate in this meeting via remote participation. Website for the meeting will be provided on the conservation agenda posted on the town's website at least 48 hours prior to the meeting. Copies may be examined electronically by contacting the Conservation Commission, 508-476-4000, Section 205. Okay. Come on over. Yes. We have a video?
Yeah, so when I talked to the owner last summer, as you see the video, she wanted to move the entire driveway to, towards the wetland, which is on the wood side when you see the video. And then, so I was a little confused when she submitted the RDA, and by the time I talked to her, she already put the ad in, but she just wants to repave it. So,
Well, we couldn't, the problem was my pin is in the middle of the driveway that goes to 17. So we didn't know if we could just pave the original driveway. But I got permission from the person at 17, and she said, yeah, just go ahead, because I own the lines are all screwed up over there.
Okay, and name and address for the record.
Selena Buskirk at 19 Webster Street in Douglas.
Thank you.
So I'll show you the video anyway. So this is the house. It's kind of by the old common, and you can see the ruts. I don't know if you can see that. So I'll go slow. So at first you wanted to move the entire driveway like 20 feet to the right, but there's wetlands about within 50 feet. And so it flattens out, and then that's the Webster Road down there. So it's really, in this area here that she's having trouble with. So I don't have any issues at all paving it or repaving it. When she wanted to move everything to the left, that's when, I suggested she file an RDA, but that's not her intentions anymore.
Okay, so any excavation planned? So we re-leveling it, we bringing in material?
I've just been getting quotes from people who do driveways. I don't know too much about it.
Okay.
So, but the pin is where that tree is. It's right in the middle, and it goes diagonal across the front of her yard.
Okay.
And that's what I own.
Okay. And we're not going to be expanding the...
No, just doing what it is. Because I
What's existing?
didn't know if I could move over because of the property line, because it's in the middle of the driveway.
Yeah.
So that was the big thing. But I got a permission just to do the driveway, so,
Okay.
So you're going right to the Webster Road?
yes.
The only thing, if they could pitch it, so we're not putting water out on the highway, on Webster Street.
As a condition.
Yeah, I think she's, I don't have it. She's actually, the water from Webster comes onto the property.
Yeah, it comes out to
Okay.
me.
Yeah, she's at a low spot. I think John's got to put a berm. John put a berm up along her driveway to stop her driveway from flooding from the roadway, so I think it's the opposite.
Okay,
It's coming, where he put the thing in, it's coming in on both sides of the runoff.
Right, so no flow to Webster Road. No increase in the width.
it looks like it's on the floor right there where your arrow is now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Looks like-
everything comes this way from the street. It dips down.
That's my only concern, that we're not putting water on the roadway, that's all.
This is, I have pictures too, if you want to look at them.
No, that's okay.
Well, this is where the thing, where they put the thing in, it's hard to get in and
The
out of my
berm?
drive, yeah.
Yep. to try to prevent the water
Yeah.
from going
I
into your
just made
yard.
a big, huge gully, you can see next to the pole there,
Mm-hmm.
that it's all washed out with, underneath there from the water, just going underneath.
Okay. All right, board. So we could condition the RDA. So what are we thinking? Issue a negative determination of applicability with the conditions. No increase in the size of the existing driveway and no increased flow to Webster Road. Anything else? Okay. Entertain a motion. Motion made by Mike,
Second.
second by Joe. All those in favor?
Eric Garrett, aye.
Joe Fitzpatrick, aye.
Mike Greco, aye.
Tracy Sharkey, aye.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Welcome.
I do have a question. Do I still have to pay for the $100 for the? Thank you.
Filing fee?
Yes, thank you.
You submitted the application to
Yeah.
the
Yes, he
board.
does, yeah.
What was- Huh?
You made-
I would say yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, because we didn't know. He said that if you were just doing that, it was just really confusing.
Yeah, I think you were too fast for him.
Yeah,
So,
okay.
but yes, I would say yes.
Okay.
You do.
All right,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great night.
You too. Okay, 7 PM, public hearing, continued notice of intent, Whiten Reservoir Dam Operation and Maintenance Manual, Whiten Reservoir Watershed District. Do we have an update? I see a couple of things in our packet from Natural Heritage.
You got something like 5 o'clock today.
Okay. Who is here on behalf of the applicant? See a lot of people.
Hi, I'm Lauren Gluck with Car Corporation, and Matt Belisle, my colleague from Car Corporation, is also here, along with Tom Sweat from the district. So, as you may or may not have already read, Natural Heritage sent an update authorizing the 6-foot drawdown with some conditions. We had a discussion with Misty and Merrill from Natural Heritage that indicated that they would be all right with us proceeding with the drawdown as proposed, given that we go forward with some field study in future years.
Okay.
So what they would like to see is, let me just pull up the letter.
Everyone, I did print that out, it should be a copy next.
Yes. We have
Okay.
2 copies, actually.
Screen too, but if you have a copy.
We do.
An attachment summary.
There's an attached, a table kind of summarizing the schedule they'd like to see for the drawdown, initiation, data collection, the different milestones in the study. So essentially, they would be allowing us to do the drawdown as planned, initiating in October, and being sure to collect very, specific data on temperatures, the dates the drawdowns are achieved, the depth. This is information that is available to the district through a monitor that they recently installed. So we would keep tabs and tabulate all that data throughout the season. And then we would be submitting a protocol for a habitat suitability study in 2023, spring of 2023, and Natural Heritage will be providing kind of approval of the protocol for our further study of the habitat in the pond, which would be performed by the same consultant in the same manner that we had done previously. So they provided a pretty good outline of that, and we are agreeable. The district is agreeing to move forward this way. After the first 2 years of the 6-foot drawdown, they would ask that we reevaluate whether a reduction in drawdown would be feasible, and if it were, then we would move forward with coordinating with Natural Heritage a protocol for study on a lesser drawdown. However, we would obviously need to evaluate if it's feasible or not and maybe collect further data on the structure itself to see if that's something that is doable.
Yeah, one thing that Ms. Deanne and the program did acknowledge was the H&H report that we proposed, and they are in agreement that the drawdown is necessary for public safety. They're just looking to balance that against any potential impacts. So they will accept the H&H and additional evaluation there in trying to work with the district on that second elevation for the second half of the testing.
Thank you. Name and address for the record.
Matthew Belisle, I am also with Park Corporation.
Thank you. Okay. Steve, does this round out our outstanding items?
I believe it does. I just have one request maybe from the applicants,
Okay.
consultants, when you do close the hearing, I did have a number of conditions ready months ago, but if you have, because there's so many emails and there's such a delay with Natural Heritage and a lot of drafts, could you send me what your document list would be? And, from the different reports and agencies. I know there was the dam safety, there was Natural Heritage, there was a bunch of radiation, so just so I have it in the order of conditions, I can kind of list that in the order, just so we have it accurate.
So just a list chronologically of what we've submitted.
Yeah, and reports you got from the different agencies, yeah. Just
Okay.
have a nice clean order of conditions, and I can put it in the special conditions that this is what was submitted, and then so if any other questions, we can look at it real quick. And then that way, when you come for any subsequent, hopefully the renewals in 3 years and whatnot, it's easy to find that information.
Okay.
We can do that.
Be great, thanks.
Excellent. Board, any questions?
Yeah, Paul Cowart, White Reservoir Water District Chair, 150 Northwest Maine. Drawdown start, I think we're proposing October 15th.
Mm-hmm.
Commission, all right with that?
Yes. Yeah, I think we're ready to close this up.
I know we are.
Thank you. I appreciate everyone's efforts on this, just to get it right. Yeah, I don't see, I'm going to open it up to the board and see if there's any concerns, but I think we're ready to close this tonight. Board? Good?
Yep.
Joe?
Yeah.
Mike? Okay, Steve, all set?
Yeah, just, maybe Lauren and Matthew can also chime in that when they do their drawdown, to make sure that it's done, not at such a, you don't want to draw it down, all at once. So it's at an expedited.
Gradual.
So at a pace that it's not ruining the integrity of downstream streams and banks and whatnot. So it's good that they do it at a nice pace. So I'm sure they have their models for that, but.
Yeah, it's included in the operations and maintenance manual, that it needs to be a gradual drawdown. I think it's 2 inches per day. That is the target drawdown, so that we don't overwhelm the downstream area or shock the upstream ecosystem.
Perfect.
And that's why they want to start it now in October, so that they have plenty of time to get it down to elevation and account for any rainstorms like we're going to get tonight and tomorrow during that drawdown period.
Excellent, thanks, Matt.
Now this.
Yeah, I think our O&M is like 2 to 2.5 per day.
This drawdown, this is until 26, and then they bring it back, or?
Until
I'm really not familiar with the whole case on it.
So if you want to just give a recap, so you're starting the drawdown approximately October 17th, and then it'll end at what date?
Paul, you want to talk about how it actually goes?
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to start on the 15th. We're going to shoot for 2.5 inches a day. we put new monitoring in so we can actually fine tune. We're looking at the water level every 5 minutes and uploading it every hour. So we're gonna fine tune that lower level outlet so we can get to that 2.5 inches a day. If everything works according to plan, it should be done probably in the neighborhood of November 20th.
November 20th.
Yeah, we don't get any extreme rainstorms or anything like that, so we should, usually we start October 1st, but I think that was also kind of a compromise with Natural Heritage.
Mm-hmm.
Then you maintain the drawdown and you start to refill as we come out of the spring or out of the winter season going into the spring so that we can capture the spring runoff and make sure that we get up to full pool. Again, we try to bring it up in a measured fashion, but it is somewhat dependent upon the storm events that we have in the springtime. And typically your target date, Paul, I know it depends upon when the ice finally leaves, but what's your target date?
As per our O&M, it's no sooner than March 1st, but also the other more important condition is the ice shield has to be almost completely gone, or what we call rotten ice. And rotten ice is ice that will cause no damage because it's mostly slush. And this year we only started March 17th because we had long ice, so.
That was going to be my follow-up question. What have you seen? March 1st is what we put in the O&M as the earliest date, but you're seeing mid-March typically for ice, correct?
Depending on how heavy the ice is. We've had previous years where we were able to hit March 1st because we didn't get ice all winter. So it's, we monitor it on a daily basis when we're icing out. And as soon as it's safe to do so for the structures, then we start bringing it back up. All the while maintaining our minimum flow. So it's not like you go there and just shut the dam. You have to maintain the minimum downstream flow. So.
Okay. Thank you.
And Steve has all those reports also. Yeah.
Fine.
Okay. Okay, board. Anyone else in the audience have questions or concerns regarding this public hearing? Raise your hand. Seeing none. Entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Still move.
Motion made by Eric, seconded by Joe. All those in favor?
Eric Harris, aye.
Joe Fitzpatrick, aye.
Mike Greco, aye.
Tracy Sharkey, aye. Entertain a motion to issue the order of conditions with the specific condition for gradual drawdown as in the O&M manual. Motion made by Joe,
Second.
seconded by Eric. All those in favor?
Eric Harris, aye.
Joe Fitzpatrick, aye.
Mike Greco, aye.
Tracy Sharkey, aye. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Have a good weekend. Yep. Okay, North Brown, what do you have for us?
I don't have, I'm sorry, Gail Rubicki, North Brown LLC. I spoke with my counsel. This release only pertains to the work spelled out under the covenant, doesn't pertain to Phase 3's work. So if you look, it certifies that the completion of the infrastructure as contemplated under the covenant. I do have a copy of the covenant,
Okay.
all right?
Could you specifically read that section?
Yes.
For us?
Line 1, as security for the completion of the infrastructure shown on the plans and covered by the order. That'd be the order of conditions, which we've already had signed off.
Okay. Okay. So there's no infrastructure in Phase 3 that is jurisdictional.
Okay.
So it's a little unique.
It just caught my eye that there's supposed to be a certificate in the erosion one, so.
Certifying, yes. Yeah. It's the way that it was worded.
That's why we have lawyers.
Yeah, some lawyer put that in there, I'm sure. So we already issued the certificate for any work under, so the order has been discharged, so this is kind of the paperwork that's lingering. So do we have any other, can I entertain a motion on this? It would be issuing a partial release of the covenant for Phase 3. Motion to issue the release, the partial release for the covenant under Phase 3. Motion made by Eric, second by Mike. All those in favor?
Eric Harris, aye.
Joe Fitzpatrick, aye.
Mike Greco, aye.
Tracy Sharkey, aye. Okay, so I do have one document, which I'm not really sure if this is actually the real one to sign.
Yes.
This is the packet that I'm not sure if this is actually, so there's.
The only document that has to be signed would be this one, the first one you had pulled up.
So we'll sign this and I'll give it to Steve.
Okay,
So if you could just touch base with him.
great.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Steve, I have in our packet the schedule, if we could table that to the next meeting?
Yeah, just take a look over it, add, I believe, and then we have plenty of time.
Okay.
For the first of the year. And then we also have the meeting minutes from August 1st that were,
I don't see those. Are they stapled together?
they're all stated, there's actually 3 sets of meeting minutes. July 18th, August 1st, and August 15th, I snuck in there to take those home.
Okay.
So I double-sided them all, and I usually run them all through.
Oh, perfect. Saving some paper.
Save the paper, I'm conservative.
I think we'll table those since I was absent from that meeting. So you only have 3.
And so there's the 5th, it's not on the agenda today, that it gets done until last week, but the 15th is on there too for August.
Okay. All right, so board will table the 1st and the 15th for next meeting. And anything else, Steve?
No.
Okay. Board? Anything else? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion made by Mike, second by Joe. All those in favor?
Eric Harris, aye.
Joe Fitzpatrick, aye.
Mike Greco, aye.
Tracy Sharkey, aye. Thank you very much.